Joining me now is Tim Clark, the CEO of Fury Gold Mines. Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
I love that name, Fury.
Fury,
Yeah,
yes, I
it's
know.
good.
Furious.
It catches.
I liked it. They wanted to change it when I first came on, and I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I think it works. Yeah, it makes people remember it. So let's talk about your three projects. You got two in Quebec, one in Nunavut. One of them in Quebec is the Eau Claire project. You increase the measured and indicated resource by 36% to more than 1 million ounces. So can you kind of give us a snapshot of all that?
Sure. So we own this big resource in Quebec called Eau Claire, and that's been the target of a lot of our drilling in the last 3 years. And the goal was to show a pathway to 2 million ounces, which is typically what these larger companies are looking for in order to make a purchase. So we've got it to about 1.89 million ounces, which is pretty significant upside. We announced the resource update last spring. And more importantly too is we did some scoping studies on it, and we've shown that there's a lot more continuity in the veining, it's steeper, it's more economic, and yet it's still wide open at depth out on the east and the west and the north. So we know this will grow. And so that for us is exciting, because now all of a sudden we're starting to have a lot more conversations with the producers.
So 24 was an active year. One of the things you did was buy the rest of the Elenor South project from Newmont. So what's the significance of that, and can you elaborate on that?
Well, the joint venture was owned by Asmit, Fury, and Newmont originally, and that's next to the Elenor mine. We felt that that whole area should be consolidated, and you have Sirius Resources up to the northeast. And we, from my point of view, I'm a buyer. I think that this market's going higher. I think gold's going higher. I think that assets can be worth more. And it has been held back from exploration. So Newmont was willing to sell it, and we had a feeling they were going to be divesting their other property, the Elenor mine, which is the third largest producing mine in Canada. And we now own the big chunk of land right next door.
Now you've been doing some drilling, and one of the things you did was make a discovery at the Serendipity prospect. Is the technical team doing anything different that we should know about in terms of their targeting techniques? Is it unique or is it standard?
It's what I think we've done really well on, and originally some question we spending the money, but we actually did a lot of surveying across the Elenor property as well as all our properties. Because if you don't understand what you have, how can you target more effectively? And in the last few years, we've added over a dozen, if not 15 or 16 real targets on the Eau Claire property that weren't there 2 years ago. One of which we went and drilled last year was Serendipity. And we had a new discovery. And so when we sit down with big companies who are looking at that as a resource, they say, you guys are doing a great job building out the Eau Claire resource, but wow, you've got this 30-kilometer deformation zone and you've got all these targets. That looks exciting, because that's where we get the big growth.
Right, and so you've got 20 additional targets, I understand.
Yes.
What's the plan for the rest of the year?
Well, we want to drill some of them, and we want to prove some of them up and shore some of them up. So one of them was an original discovery in 2018 called Percival, and we've actually drilled that out and made that part of the maiden resource with over 200,000 ounces. If we could do that or find another Eau Claire on our property, then we have something.
Now, what's interesting, a lot of things are interesting, but about Fury is a nearly 70 million stake in Dolly Varden Silver. And I noticed that at one point, at least, you tapped some of that to fund your drilling. So is that a passive investment mostly that you'll tap occasionally?
Well, it was a byproduct of trying to be smarter with what we had in our assets. We knew that selling Dolly, the Homestake Ridge portion of their property, they could manage that easier and let us concentrate on our other properties. The difference is silver has taken off, and there's been a lot more M&A in that market, and there's so few silver plays that stock has run up. So we've actually taken $20 million out of it already, and our holdings have actually increased even though we've done that. So it runs between about 50 to 60 million right now, and our market cap's only 85. Yet we have over 3 million ounces in resource. So the valuation is really skewed because of this Dolly piece. We're too small a company in a market that's really been soft for investing, so there's been no arbitrage on that. And that's where we see huge value and where I'm getting a lot of interest from big investors wanting to come in.
All right. And just lastly, Tim, we're kind of getting a sense, but ultimately, what's the end game here? Are you looking to build it up, prove it out, and sell?
We're looking to make money. And,
Are we all?
I own a lot of shares, and we're trying to be smart and add value. And some way, we've got enough optionality that we think something's going to break, whether someone sweeps in and buys the whole company, whether we sell parts of it, whether we dividend out some cash from the Dolly. We're just trying to be thoughtful with our investor money.
And you're honest and transparent about it, so there you go. Well done.
So that's what we're trying to do. That's what I think the magic thing is, to build trust with your investors and your producers and partners. So that's what we're trying to be.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Tim Clark from Fury Gold Mine, CEO.